My name is Shonda Moore, and I have been living in California for nearly my entire life. I was born in New Jersey and transitioned to California when I was 15 years old and raised in Southern California, in a town called Riverside, which is now a big city, a suburb of Orange County, I guess is how it's referred to. And I made my way to Sacramento because I worked for a school system here in the region. And now I am a resident of the city of Elk Grove, living here with my husband and our son and two dogs. And I am an entrepreneur. I just launched my business called We Brand You Social, and we help educate and excel a school's digital success story through branding and social media marketing and management.
All right, all right. Okay, so let's get into it with the first question, Shonda. What do you believe to be the root causes of the hate that youth, community members, ethnic groups are experiencing in California that you have seen, especially when we talk about anger? What is it about anger that makes these individuals, groups lash out hatefully to others without remorse?
Hmm. You know, I was reflecting on this and just thinking about life in general and thinking about history. One of the things that I know about history and the world and its inhabitants is that we are all coming from this place that um, people harbor hate and anger towards others because of self hatred, fear, and ignorance. And sometimes people feel justified because they believe that their views or their perspectives are the right way. And I call that a God complex. They have this dangerous mindset that they are they're right. And we all have experienced those moments where we justify for ourselves when we believe that our way is the right way. Um, and I think that even back through biblical times, there's this concept of good versus evil that exists on earth and in the world. And I just don't know that we'll ever be able to move away from it. But I know that that is fueled by hate and one's own inadequacies that they have for their own lives and themselves. And it creates a space where they can't have compassion for others because they don't have compassion for themselves.
All right, all right. Thank you for responding to that. Uh, our next question would be, what would you like to see local public health partner agencies do to address hate based crimes on communities of color, women, elderly, youth, and young adults?
You know, I want to start off by just pulling out the bright spots. And the bright spots is, that the city of Sacramento, they've invested $3.2 million dollars in funding to support community based organizations who are skilled at addressing and reducing hate crimes and supporting victims of hate crimes. And additionally, the state of California, according to Cal Matters, has invested an additional $90 million dollars to address hate crimes and to provide support to victims of hate crimes. So I wanted to start there because that's a bright spot. Um, because at least we know that the state of California and cities like Sacramento and LA, who experienced the highest rise of hate crimes in 2022, it peaked higher than 2005 when we had experienced a rise in hate crimes. Since making those financial investments, both the state and the city of Sacramento have reported a decrease in the amount of hate crimes that were reported. But I would say that it's very important for both the state of California and Sacramento County and the city of Sacramento to create inclusivity and present opportunities that bring Californians together through education. A lot of the hate crimes that are persisting right now are racially fueled, and I think that that's common, right? But there's also a rise in hate crimes that have to do with gender and sexuality, one's own identity, as we see a rise in folks choosing their own path for their lives. And there's also some hate that is on the rise, and it still exists against the Muslim community. And so I think that if there was a campaign, like I'm all about marketing, I'm all about communicating good messages. I think that if California and Sacramento and other major cities band together to create a campaign that focuses on our humanness and our oneness and how we're more alike than we are unalike, it could create opportunities for us to see a decrease overall in how we treat one another and how we think about our place as human beings and how we think about others.
Wow, Shonda, I love how you started off with the response with the bright spot. That was great. And then the finishing with the campaign on humanness and oneness. I love it. It's a great campaign to address hate-based crimes. So our last question that I want to ask you, and you could also send in quotes as well. You know, I saw a disturbing video, and this was actually on one of the headline news stations here in Sacramento. I think it was CBS or KCRA3, where recently, there is black on black, there is white on black crime, hate crimes when we talk, and bullying when we talk about preteens and teens.
Mhm.
And there was a student, elementary school age, who was actually killed. So an African American. This was black on black.
Mhm.
And it's very, very unfortunate. So sad and traumatic. So what? I also want to mention, you mentioned this early on, that you and your husband, you have a son. So, and your son is of toddler age. So, what is your best advice and or quote for Black preteens and teenagers to live by as they are growing up in today's society?
Mm. You know what? My heart goes out to the families, both the family of the young man who was shot and killed and who lost his life. I can only imagine what his family, his mother, his father are going through emotionally, um, as well as to the family of the young man, the young boy, that was the person who committed the crime, and his father, because at the end of hate, it only breeds more hate, it breeds confusion, and the outcomes are never good. And sometimes, like in that particular case, they're deadly. Um, and when I think about me and I think about my husband and I raising our son, we really both want him to stay true to himself. And so my biggest quote for youth and also adults, especially in this age where social media is king, everybody is watching some type of video content on a reel, whether you're consuming it on Instagram or TikTok. And we need to understand that half the time those are made up stories. That's like no different than watching your favorite actor perform on in a movie or on the stage. And so having the spirit of authenticity, having the spirit of staying true to yourself, that means understanding who you are, understanding what it is that you like, understanding what your voice sounds like, knowing and being comfortable with change, having a growth mindset, um, and knowing that every day isn't gonna look like sunshine. Some days there is gonna be rain, and some days, it's gonna be a thunderstorm. But either way, staying true to yourself and a higher power that is greater than yourself will keep you grounded and rooted, and also lends itself to us having compassion and kindness, um, generosity and goodwill to our fellow citizens.